In 2010, the government's digital champion, Martha Lane Fox, proposed a programme of activity to achieve a radical improvement in the quality and availability of public services online. Key to her proposals was that public services should become digital by default. But what does this actually mean? I'm here at the Building Perfect Council Websites Conference in Birmingham to speak to some key stakeholders about digital by default.
Digital by default means that we will deliver services online, digitally, to most of the people most of the time, but not all of the people all of the time.
It's a realisation at its heart by government that it's time to not have digital services as an add-on, but make it the prime way that people interact with public services.
With a recession which has brought budget cuts, local authorities are under pressure to find new and low-cost ways to maintain their services.
In the public sector often, it's big organisations and there's a lot to do and budgets are annual, and so it tends to just get stuck in ruts and people do things the way they've always done them. And so it takes something like that to shake it up, and people realise they cannot carry on doing it how they were doing it, so it's an opportunity to start to look at doing things in a new way with new technologies.
The modern web has been with us for over 20 years, but many councils and public bodies are only just starting to get to grips with the digital world.
Government faces a challenge. It needs to keep up with citizens' expectations that are leaping ahead, driven by some of the world's most successful companies of the modern era, really, driven by Google, by Apple, by Microsoft and others. And citizens' expectation, and Amazon and eBay, and citizens' expectations is of fantastically straightforward digital transactions that they can just get on with. They don't want, everybody knows, they don't want paying their council tax to be some great palaver. They want to do it simply and easily. And increasingly, people want to be able to do this sort of thing over their mobile phone. If I can monitor an eBay auction on my mobile, if I can buy stuff from Amazon on my Kindle or on my mobile, then I want to be able to deal with the council that way too. And digital by default isn't just that front end. It's about quite a fundamental restructuring of your service chain in order to deliver services digitally. And it's usually cheaper and quicker.
A lot of this information can be done that way. It's really about designing the processes, understanding the culture within the organisation. So no, I think we ultimately will be in a position of digital by default, but it may take us a few years and we need to really understand the cultural changes that are required.
But when it appears that up to 25% of the public are digitally excluded, it's vital that when providing services, local authorities do not alienate those who are unable or unwilling to access digital channels.
There remains a significant minority of people who are totally disengaged with computers. They just don't want to use a computer. They either they find them confusing, maybe find them too expensive to buy. They've kind of been missed, that whole piece. However, you've got digital televisions, you've got smartphones, you've got tablets, and actually those two, both ends, very opposite ends of the spectrum in many ways, are the areas that we focus on. And actually, if you look at the profile of people who most demand public services, they often end at those both ends of the spectrum. You and I would quite happily jump on our computer, Google the answer, and off we go. But for many others, actually, they don't. That's not a thought process that they have. So tackling and delivering services really well at the far ends of their digital spectrum, we think is a way to deliver some of the kind of efficiency savings which, frankly, local government has really got to deliver, and soon.
So a substantial proportion of your customers, certainly more than half, at least, and probably as many as 3/4, will be comfortable using the internet to transact with you. There are 25% or so who won't be, and you need to work with intermediary agencies like the excellent UK Online Centres, to declare an interest, I'm on the board of UK Online Centres, who can help you as a local authority engage citizens in your community that are less confident in using these media.
Tom Steinberg, founder and director of My Society, spoke to me after his opening speech.
Government is actually rather well set up to handle people who have never touched a mobile phone, who've never used the internet. All of government's legacy is entirely about talking to people face to face and sending them letters. So it's extraordinarily well set up for people who can't use technology. To me, the area of growth needs to be around people who have never seen a paper form and who who maybe grow up with no kind of real conception of what government does or what paper forms are all about, and making government in the next 25 years look sensible and sane and understandable to those people, while at the same time not hurting anyone who can't use those channels and who doesn't have access to digital channels for one means or another.
Online can be an efficient and low-cost means of providing information and services. However, making public services digital by default means greater effort must be made to get more people online and to ensure that arrangements are made for those who will, for whatever reason, remain digitally excluded. The question is whether local authorities can keep up with the digital age and whether the public really wants such services. This is Eva Quigley for the informationdaily.tv in Birmingham.